The ship's purser is the person on a ship responsible for the handling of money on board. On modern merchant ships, the purser is the officer responsible for all administration and supply. Frequently the cooks and stewards answer to them as well. History: the purser joined the warrant officer ranks of the Royal Navy in the early 14th century and existed as a naval rank until 1852. The development of the warrant officer system began in 1040 when 5 English ports began furnishing warships to King Edward the Confessor in exchange for certain privileges. They also furnished crews whose officers were the master, boatswain, carpenter and cook. Later these officers were warranted by the British Admiralty. Pursers received no pay but were entitled to profits made through their business activities. In the 18th century a purser would buy his warrant for £65 and was required to post sureties totaling £2,100 with the Admiralty. They maintained and sailed the ships and were the standing officers of the Navy, staying with the ships in port between voyages as caretakers supervising repairs and refitting. In charge of supplies such as food and drink, clothing, bedding, candles, the purser was originally known as the clerk of bursar. They would usually charge the supplier a 5% commission for making a purchase and it is recorded they charged a considerable markup when they on-sold the goods to the crew. The purser was not actually in charge of pay, but of necessity had to track it closely, since the crew had to pay for all their supplies, and it was the purser's job to deduct those expenses from their wages. The purser bought everything on credit, acting almost as a private merchant. In addition to his official responsibilities, it was customary for the purser to act as a literal private merchant for luxuries such as tobacco, and to be the crew's banker. As a result, the purser could be at risk of losing money and being thrown into debtor's prison. Conversely, the crew and officers habitually suspected the purser of making an illicit profit out of his complex dealings. It was the common practice of pursers forging pay tickets to claim wages for phantom crew members that led to the Navy's implementation of muster inspection to confirm who actually worked on a vessel. The position, though unpaid, was very sought after due to the expectation of making a reasonable profit. Although there were wealthy pursers, it was due to side businesses facilitated by their ship's travels. On modern-day passenger ships, the purser has evolved into a multi-person office that handles general administration, fees and charges, currency exchange, and any other money-related needs of the passengers and crew. Aircraft: on modern airliners, the cabin manager is often called the purser. The purser oversees the flight attendants by making sure airline passengers are safe and comfortable. A flight purser completes detailed reports and verifies all safety procedures are followed. See also: Aircrew, Steward, Supply Corps Officer, Samuel Hambleton, the first purser of the United States Navy. Notes. References: Roger, N.A.M. The Wooden World, An Anatomy of the Georgian Navy. Annapolis, Maryland Naval Institute Press, ppA 87/98. ISBN A0-87021-987-1A.